Let's talk about that. If someone's sitting there right now, passionate about something, wanting to get inspired, wanting to do something, but they're settling for the pain of where they are. And that's why I asked that mediocrity and happiness question.
Yeah.
It is really that dance between I'm going to settle for where I'm at, or I'm going to be where I want to be. How do you think about that journey? How do you
You know what just popped into my mind in a weird way? Cancer. If you got diagnosed with a cancer that was treatable, would you try to treat your cancer?
Yes.
Of course you would. Because otherwise it would kill you. When you feel this call or this burning desire, and I feel like we all have this flame inside of us. We are not like a boiler where the pilot light can blow out. That is not how a human being is wired. You, whether you're stuck, whether you're in pain, whether you're suffering, you still have this flame inside you that is burning. And when you actively engage in your own campaign of misery, and you actively tell yourself the reasons why it's not going to work, or the reasons why you can't do it, or the reasons why now is not the time, or you're never going to make it happen, or it was great for Jay or great for for Mel, but nothing ever works out for. When you engage in your own campaign of misery, you are creating literally a cancer inside of you that eats at you. And we don't realize that by engaging in this campaign of misery, because it's active, that flame is burning inside you and you are actively convincing yourself not to do anything. It is an active engagement. That's why I call it a campaign, because that flame is going to keep on burning, which is why the campaign has to get louder and the excuses have to get louder. And you know what starts to happen? Is you start to listen to that campaign and you start to feel pain, because there's something burning inside of you. And the only cure for this is to stop listening to that campaign and simply start taking small steps, just one every day toward the thing that you want. I talk to my daughter about this all the time. So she dreams, absolutely dreams, of being a singer-songwriter, solo artist with a successful career, literally stadium tours. And if I'm being perfectly honest, this kid has all of the talent and all of the, like, she's one of those 5-tool players, and she is a great person, kind and just awesome. And she's even in a program for it, the best in the country. She has everything. She just has to do the work. What is the work? Well, the work is simply writing crappy songs every day. The work is not listening to the campaign of misery, because all around you, you're going to see evidence of this person's better, or that person this, or this one's that, or there. When you listen to that campaign in your head, it is like a cancer inside. It causes pain because you can feel when you are giving up on your own potential. And that is the worst kind of life to live.
And we're all, I remember I was the president of that campaign in my own life. Like, you know, I was like, when you, and I want people to understand this, is that everyone you think is doing something good with their life, at one point they were the presidents of this campaign of misery in their own life. I remember saying, well, that never's going to happen for me. Those things only happen to those people. I remember also watching things, and this was the key one that I realized had to go. Me and my friends, and my dream when I was young was to be a spoken word rap artist. Like, that was my goal. Like, I've always loved words. I've always loved having a large vocabulary. I've always loved bending words and making them rhyme. And I think that's why I love words today. And what we do so much is that. And we would sit there and we would watch rappers or artists that were up and coming, and we would critique them, and we would almost talk badly about them. We would criticize them, and we talk about how rubbish they were and how untalented they were, and if we had those opportunities, how good we'd be. And I realized that today's culture is propagating that even more, because now we're just scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, and you'll see someone who's doing what you want to do, and you may think you can do it better. But instead of doing it, we're spending our time watching someone else doing it and going, well, that sucks, that's rubbish.
Right.
I actually have friends who'll message me stuff like that sometimes, and they'll be like, look, I've been wanting to make videos for a while, and they'll send me someone who's made a bad video in their opinion. And I said, what's really interesting? When you're on social media, you look at everyone who's doing worse than you. I said, when I'm on social media, I look at everyone who's doing better than me and learn, right? It's like, there's those two mindsets. You're either criticizing someone, or you're creating and learning and growing. And so I just feel what you're saying is so true. And I think I spent so much time thinking I had something, but then not doing anything with it.
Yeah. So a couple things. I want to give everybody a visual.
Yes.
Because I find Jay's into words, I got to have a picture. Like my mind is not the words mind. You are either in the stands commenting about the game, or you're on the court playing it. And right now, I want you to think about that flame inside you, that dream that you have. And I'm going to go back to my daughter, who is on the court, but she will be the first to say that for many years, she was engaged in her own campaign of misery, sitting in the stands, telling herself why she can't get on the court right now. And so I like that visual, because at any moment, it literally like cuts right to the truth. Are you in the stands criticizing the people who are playing the game, or being jealous of them, or in the stands telling yourself it's not time to jump in, or are you on the freaking court? There's only two places to be in life. That's it. There is no middle ground here. And so what I want to say also is that being in the stands, it is loud. It is an active thing that you're doing. This is not a passive thing that we do to ourselves. We actively argue against our dream and our potential. And that is 1,000% tied to your happiness, to your confidence, because if you are arguing against your own God-given potential, you are actively destroying your confidence, you're actively destroying possibility in your life. And here's the thing, you freaking know it. Yeah. People know when they have imposter syndrome. They know it. They talk about it openly. And I also hate the term fake it till you make it. And here's why. When you say, I'm just going to fake it till you make it, you are calling yourself a fake. It amplifies your self-doubt. Instead, say this, I'm going to get on the court and try until I make it. Because the pain of sitting in the stands and never getting down there is way greater than tripping on the court. Way greater. You're causing and this is the thing I want people to understand. You are causing yourself so much pain by laughing off and making jokes about how it's never going to happen. You are causing yourself so much pain by thinking about it. Get out of the freaking stands and get back on the court in your life. I did this to myself for years about the podcast. I'll tell you some insane stories. So here I am, crazy successful in the audiobook world. The most successful self-published audiobook in the history of audiobooks is The 5-Second Rule. That leads to a 7-book Audible original deals with Audible because of the success of that. And I kept telling myself, Jay, I'd look at you, and I'd look at a ton of our other friends who, have these amazing podcasts, you, Rich Roll, just everybody. And I'd be like, I missed the boat. I'm too late. There's 2 million podcasts out there now. I can't do this. I don't have anything different to say than Jay. Jay's already got, it covered. Like, why would I jump in there now? And then I would in the stands for 6 years. And you know what else I would tell myself? Well, you're just successful because Audible's your partner. And if you were to try this, you're going to fall flat on your face. And you don't have time. And here's another thing that I tell myself. Well, who on earth is going to come to Boston to sit in a studio with you, Mel? Everybody's remote now. Boston is not a media place. Nobody travels there. Just in the freaking stands, telling myself, no, no, no. Now, here's the thing about campaigns of misery. It does not actually mute the heartache and the pull that you have, because your dreams actually can't leave you. They're meant for you. And so all that campaigning or the drinking or the numbing out or the avoiding the thing that is inside you, it doesn't make the dream go away. It just creates more pain. And so finally, it was 2 years ago that I'm like, I have to take my own advice. And I got to make some major changes, because I knew when I was going to step into the podcast space that I was going to make it the only thing that I was doing, that I needed to complete all the speaking engagements that I had. I needed to create different boundaries around, I had to get serious about taking the steps and getting on that court. And that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years. And a lot of people don't know that I actually got my start in 2007 hosting a local radio show. And I have wanted to get back to radio for almost 12 years because I love the intimacy of it. And so, and I can't, like, you know this, you can't share your life in real time in an audiobook.
No, definitely not.
You can't do it in a 60-second reel. But I, too, sat there in the stands, actively engaged in my campaign of misery. Here's another area of my life where I engaged in campaign of misery. Loneliness. I have been profoundly lonely for a while now. And by lonely, I don't mean alone, because there's people around me. But I have, and I think a lot of people feel this way, and I know a lot of women do, particularly when your kids get older and the social, like things change. And I think a lot of us are struggling with adult friendship. And especially coming out of quarantine, people are now kind of, I don't want to leave my house, not because of anything going on, but because I like being home.
Yeah.
And so I started to get serious about the fact that I was really in the stands in my life, complaining to myself that I didn't see my friends, that I don't have friends, that I'm really lonely, but I wasn't on the court. What are you going to do about it? Because it's easy to actually start making friends if you send texts every day to people and you make plans.
Yeah.
Oh, Jay's in Montreal. Why don't I text him? Oh, he's in the same hotel. Why don't I go up 7 floors and go see him? Because my monk is in the penthouse. You know what I'm saying?
I love what you're saying. I can resonate with it so much. And there's a journey from as
Where is your campaign of misery right now?
Oh, that's a great question. Where is my current campaign of misery?
Where are you in the stands in your life, Jay?
Mine is actually, I grew up loving, I went to public speaking and drama school. And public speaking became a huge part of my life and drama stopped. And drama is something I'd love to get back into.
Really?
I loved acting growing up. I loved the idea of getting into someone else's emotions, and I loved the idea of learning about new characters and understanding. And I keep wanting to do it. And 3 years ago, when the Bad Boys movie came out, I was asked by Sony to be in their theatrical trailer for TV. And so I played the role of a therapist with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. And I had so much, it was so uncomfortable because I hadn't done it for so long. I went to drama school for 7 years. It was so uncomfortable doing it. And I got an acting coach that week and I practiced and I learned all my lines. And then I got there on the day and they gave me a new script. They said, the script's changed. And I'm going, guys, I had 5 days. I knew about this 5 days ago. I had an acting coach every day for 2 hours a day. And they give me a new script. Then they come in 10 minutes before, I've been waiting around for 2 hours learning this new script. We get there and they say, oh, by the way, Will and Martin have scrapped the script. There's no more script. They're just going to freestyle and you're going to have to freestyle. I'm like, you want me to freestyle with two of the greatest to ever do it? And I'm not a comedian.
Now, were you friends with Will at this point?
Not in the way we are today.
Okay, so like, because I think people might be like, yeah, but you guys are friends. So you're like, but this is like not a friend of mine.
Yeah, we were acquaintances, but not,
Got it.
not
Okay,
in the
good.
relationship
I
we
think
have
that's
today.
important.
Yeah, and I didn't know Martin at all. I'd never met him in my life. And so I am fully feeling imposter syndrome. I'm fully in my discomfort zone. And I had the most fun.
You're on the court.
Yeah, I was on the court and I had fun. But then since that day, I retreated. and so that's been, if I'm completely honest, that's where my heart is. I love the idea of getting to be, I've always loved biographies and I've always loved autobiographies. I've always loved true stories. And so if I had the opportunity to learn or play or be in a true story, that would fill my heart with a lot of joy.
Is there somebody that you would dream of playing?
No, I don't have that. That answer I don't have clear. But yeah, that would be my honest answer to that question of that's something I'm in the stands on. There's so many excuses. I'm like, well, Jay, if you did that, then it discredits all the work you've done up till now. Well, Jay, if you did that and it doesn't work out, then what about the people that you coach in that industry? Like if you did it and you did it really well, then people will call you a sellout because you chose to do something completely different. And it's not saying I want to do that and stop doing what I do today. It's just that there's a part of that expression that I'm so creatively inspired by that I'd like to try.
Yeah.
And again, it's try, right? It's not, and I wanted to so that's what I want to talk to you about. what was the heart of my question before? I'm so glad you asked me that. Thank you. I've never publicly talked about that. I've never shared that really with anyone beyond my wife.